Hi everyone, welcome to the final part of this series from Johanna Basford's weekly planner. We're going to get straight on with this one here. I am going to grab, let me have a quick look at my swatch chart. I'm going to use the light green and the foliage green. So that's the light green. Splat, that was loud, wasn't it? There's the foliage green. So I'm going to start with the foliage green at the bottom and just get colouring. So this is a picture from Magical Jungle, and we're using the Ohuhu pencils. Yeah, I was really interested in these when I was offered them to test by Ohuhu, because obviously their pens are so popular with people who like using the alcohol markers, because they're a little bit cheaper than their sort of big rival, the Copics or Copics. The Copic markers are very expensive. I remember saying to someone in an art shop once, why are these so expensive? What makes them so special? You know, and they just said, oh, it's because they're Copics. So I thought this isn't really a very good answer, but I still don't know the answer. I don't know whether alcohol markers are just generally more expensive, or whether obviously they're a brand name, so they charge more. And that is what happens with brand recognition, as we know. But I'm wondering what it is about light green, about them, that makes them so expensive. You know, and the type of people that I see using them, not in colouring, apart from in colouring, they sort of seem to be like graphic design architects who will just use them for sort of scribbling a little drawing down. And I'm thinking, why are you using an alcohol marker which goes through the page and is really smelly, when you could just use like a felt tip pen, you know, a water-based pen. I just have no understanding. I mean, maybe they don't dry out as quickly because they're not water-based. I really don't know anything about them. So tell me everything you know. I want to know all about alcohol markers. Why are they all expensive? Are there some really cheap ones? Are Ohuhu the really cheap ones? Do they dry out? Well, I know I've seen colouring demonstrations using them, and I can understand why people who are colouring might prefer them. I'm going to do this little bit here to I'm going to use the earth green yellowish, I think. I can understand why people who are colouring might prefer them to a water-based marker. I've just lost my pencil sharpener, because when you lay them down, if you use the right technique, you don't get any lines. It gives you a really flat finish, which with a water-based marker you can get a sort of streaky look, which can be quite frustrating. And also you can blend them if you use them when they're wet. So I can absolutely understand why you would use them over a water-based marker. That isn't what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is, why are they so expensive? Simple question. Why are they so expensive? Right, I am trying to look for colours that I didn't use. I didn't use the lettuce green yesterday's video, so I'm going to use lettuce green. Yeah, I'm quite intrigued. I mean, maybe it's the materials that are made from that are expensive, but I bet there are cheaper ones you can get in some places. But anyway, this is quite pale, and that I knew it was. I'm going to put a darker colour in with it, because I would normally try to just put a darker bit of this colour, but it just isn't dark enough. So I'm just using it as a little base colour. Now I am going quickly at this point because I'm just getting my base down. So I'm not doing anything special. I'm trying to keep it even. And I find, for me, on a personal level, if I want to try and keep a colour even, for me, the faster I go, the more even it is. I can't tell you why, because I do not know. What should we use? That was a lettuce green. Maybe the yellow green will work. Where are you, yellow green there? I think this might show up. If it doesn't, I'll have to grab something else. But this is the yellow green. And what I want to do is use it there on the top where they're overlapping. I don't think that works at all. I will have to do something else in a minute. But anyway, yeah, I have recently been given a lot of pens, and you probably may not have seen my review of them. And I'm sort of, these are their gel pens, I guess. No, I think they're acrylic rather than gel, you would probably call them. What I'm going to do is use the L Lemon Yellow, which I think means light lemon yellow, to finish off these, so that we've got some of this lighter, brighter colour. Hopefully that'll work. Yeah, so I've got some pens to play with. And what I like about acrylic paint pens is that you can use them on top of pencil. And yeah, I'm going to leave that there. I think if I try and fiddle too much, it's going to spoil it. We've got these hanging downwards. I can do them all the same or all differently. I think I'm just going to grab a random green and do each one a different colour, just for fun. And then we'll see what greens we've got left at the end to do these. So this is the moss green. Now I'm going to do the stem part first because it is narrower. And I'm just going to block that in. Like that. And then each of these I'm just going to fade a little to the tip. Really simple colouring style. If you find it too tricky, you can just block them in. They'll look just the same. No, they won't look the same, but I think they'll look just as good. I think I can hear rain. Certainly hear something. It was so heavy earlier. There we go. Now I'm grabbing the Permanent Green Olive. I'm going to do this one. I'm tempted to lift the blind and oh yeah, it's absolutely torrential. Yeah, and my husband's out in it. Well, hopefully he's managed to get in a shop before it came down, and I hope he's not messaging me because I haven't got my phone with me. But anyway, he's in the habit of messaging me a lot when he's out and about, ask me questions, but if it's urgent he'll have to just phone. My son will pick up. Yeah, I usually have a phone with me in here with me, but because the children are at home, I just figured I wouldn't worry too much. One of my eldest is, I say eldest, you know, twins, but is doing a live stream. He's not streaming, but his friend is streaming. And he's sort of going to be in the stream chatting because his friend is doesn't that talkative, so he goes along and gives chats to sort of keep things going, and also sort of does stuff because it's Minecraft, so they're crafting things, basically building. Not sure what they're building at the moment, maybe a house. I really don't know, I'm just guessing. Dark green, he did tell me. I didn't listen. Was it a farm? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, something. So he was going to go do that, support his friend, have some fun. So that was good. He had a driving lesson this morning. He got a bit wet coming back, but he was practicing hill starts again. Because he's learning in a manual car. I have to do the old hill starts, can be a bit tricky, but he's getting there. He said they were practicing something last week and he was rubbish at it. He kept trying. This week they practiced it. He got it first time, so it's good. He's improving, but he listens and thinks it through. You know, he's a good student. And then he said they were going, you know, on an empty road. And when he got just over 50, he said, I don't want to go any faster. I'm not, you know, he told his instructor that he wanted to stay slow. There was no other traffic, so it wasn't a problem. You know, you can go slow on roads. Of course, this is Banboo Cyan. But you just have to not impede traffic, you know. So it's okay. It's quite funny though. He said on the way back, he drove past a Sainsbury's supermarket, which is our closest one, and then he had to drive all the way back to the town where he has his lessons, and then get the train back. Whereas he could have walked from there. But it's quite a walk, I guess. It takes me about 45 minutes. This is rich blue-green. It's quite a dark colour. I think we might have used it here. Did we? No, I think that was a dark green. Anyway, I'm going to sharpen up. I'm not going to do all of these the same, I don't think. I'm going to pick out a few. So I'm going to pick out these. Now, this is very blue, as I've just observed. I'm going to go over it with something lighter in a minute. So I'm just going to spread that all the way down. You can see I'm fading as I go. Like that. And then over the top, I'm going to use a sort of, I'm actually going to use this Banboo Cyan that we used here. Because once it's mixed in with this, it will look very different. But the yellow, it's got a very predominant yellow, which will convert that into a green rather than the bluey look. There we go. Hopefully it looks like green rather than rather than blue sing on green. Now we've still got a few colours we haven't used yet today in the greens. So I'm going to use this one next, which is the dark Jade Green. This one, and this one, I think I'll use with this. Again, darker here, fading down. I may have to sharpen this in a minute. Putting quite a lot of pressure on that bendy lead, aren't I? Let's turn it round. There we go. Shouldn't really, you know, if it's doing that, you should really sharpen it. I don't know if I'm just being lazy. I'm just trying to preserve the pencil a bit. There we go. And this one. It can be quite hard getting all the way to the top when it goes right off the page. I sometimes just lift it a bit to make sure that because it's hard to see with the white paper underneath, whether you've gone all the way, done it all or not. Like that. And then this little one in here. Now I'm having a little think about the sky and the water while I'm doing this. That's why I went suddenly very quiet. Now my original plan was to use a soft pastel. And I'd still really like to do that. But my concern is that these pencils are quite smushy. And I'm wondering whether I'm going to use the Peppermint for this big leaf here. For this one though, I'm going to start on this line and then fade it up to the next one like that. I'm just going to do a faded bit in there. I was just trying to work out how to do that one, just to do a slightly different effect than we've been doing. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried that if I use soft pastels it might smudge the pencil, because they seem quite smudgy to me. So that is a concern of mine. So I'm just sort of thinking really about what to do. There we go. Now I'm going to do this. It's quite a different colour, the sycamore. I think it might look a bit odd if I do that in there, so I think I won't. I do the Bermuda, which is similar, instead. Again, I'm going to just fade it to the tip. Yes, I'm not sure whether to do it in pencil or pastel really, but my preference is pastel. It's just easier and quicker. And I might just be able to be careful really with it. Now I've got these two little leaves here. I'm going to grab this one, the earth green yellowish. Like that. And then these two, I think these are like water lilies, so I think they need to be pink. We've got some really hot pinks, so I'm not going to use those. I'm going to try and find a peach. Here it is, peach. Now this is darker, but it's not as fluorescent, and so I'm going to try to just put a little bit on towards the tips. Trying to keep it subtle. Now you could of course do the sky and the water in pencil, but I think that's going to take quite some time, quite hard work, so it's not something I'm overly keen on doing. You could of course just leave the background white, but I don't do that when it's a scene. It feels to me like it needs something, so yes, I'm not going to do that. It's actually Friday today. It always feels quite odd on a Friday because husband and son that don't work on a Friday. It always feels a bit like a Saturday. It's a very odd feeling, but once my son starts back at uni, he's going to be, I shall leave this piece of paper in. Come out a bit, probably max, not quite max. Just clear some space on the desk. These are Mungyo soft pastels. Oops, there you go. Now let's find a clean cloth. I think that's cleanish. That doesn't look very clean, but that looks good watercolour, doesn't it? Now this colour here, this sort of greeny blue, I'm going to use that for the water. I'm just going to go for it. Now the reason I'm using a greeny blue is partly because I think sometimes water is greeny blue, but also we've got sky to do, and that's going to be blue. So I need to make sure you can tell the difference between water and sky. I mean, usually I can, because one's at the top and one's further down the page. But yeah, just want the colours to be different. Now I am having to go over the top of bits. It's just the way it is. I haven't got a small enough something to spread the colour. I saw someone using a blending stump, which was a really good idea. Those are those sort of paper tortilla that are sort of a paper that's been twisted and twisted, and you can use it for blending. But I don't think I've got any of those. But anyway, I'm managing this way. Now the amount of colour you put on is up to you. Pastels layer just like pencil, so you can layer them more for more intensity, or just put on a light layer if you want less intensity. So it's up to you. I'm going to try to get it evenish, which is not easy, and also probably not necessary actually. What I might do actually is just try and make it darker at the bottom. I think water is generally darker near the bottom. If I do that, then it doesn't have to be even, because it'll make sense. It's a bit darker down here. Maybe also just up this edge where it sort of, this is still feels to me like it's the bottom. And then I'm just going to fill in places where I think there's a bit of a gap, where there isn't very much. You might not need to do that, depends how even you've been. I feel like it needs a bit in there, like there wasn't any. Okay, now the sky. I'm going to pick a blue. I'm just going to turn this round to make it a little bit easier. Sorry, nasty noise. There we go. I think this blue is quite a good one usually. Now I want to try and go around this without making it blue. It can be quite the challenge. Now if you're not sure how the colour's going to look, you can put a little bit onto some scrap paper first, because and just see how it looks once it's on your page. Although you can blend other colours in with it, you know, you might just want to try it first, is what I'm saying really, just to see what the colour looks like. And you could always put a bit of the pencil you're using near it as well, so that you can see how it looks like with that. Also, getting pastel so it isn't streaky takes practice. I'm certainly not perfect at it by any means, and so you might want to play around and practice a bit first. I tend to just practice in my books. Maybe I'm lazy, maybe I just want to get on and colour my nice books, you know. I find it a bit tiresome practicing. Just like to get on and do the real thing. Probably always been the same, to be honest. Like when I was learning to play the piano, I just wanted to play songs. I didn't want to learn the theory and how to read the music. I sort of vaguely knew how to read the music. I'd just write the notes above and get on and play. Right, I'm leaving it there. I don't want too much on it, but oops, what we do need, as soon as I've put my pastels away so I don't spill them all over the carpet, there we go, is what I do want is some, to sort out these bubbles. Let's just get rid of that bit of paper. It's getting on my nerves somewhat. So we could go silver metallic, silver glitter, or just clear glitter. I'm going to go along the silver glitter route today. I'm just going to use my Jelly Roll Stardust. It doesn't look like there's any left in there. We'll see what there is. I'm just going to brush first. Let's brush off all the pencil. There we go. That's just a makeup brush, by the way. Very, very useful. I've got one in the other room as well. It just means you don't smudge. If you touch pastel with your fingers, it can make it weirdly greasy and odd. Although when I was at school, I was always taught to apply pastel with my fingers. If you're doing all of it with it, you can make it work. If you just got the odd fingerprint, which I've actually got there, it doesn't look particularly nice. Right, there we are. I'm just seeing if I want to put anything else in here, any dots, any bits, but I don't think I do. I think I am going to leave it like that. So maybe we're a little bit shorter today, video wise, but I think that's okay. We've got it finished, and you might need a little bit more time just to finish off yours anyway, because I did go quite quickly with the leaves because I was getting bored of colouring leaves. But thank you for watching today. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.